I really never explained Dominion on this channel? I mean, I've mentioned it in my videos numerous times, sure, but you might be totally lost if you've never actually played it or heard of it before. Dominion is the first in the genre known as deck builders. Unlike a lot of card games where people draw hands from a shared deck, like with Uno or poker, a deck builder instead has each player start with their own small deck, which at the start of the game is the same as everybody else's. They then add to it over time by acquiring cards from a shared marketplace, essentially building their own deck. To play a game of Dominion, up to 4 players each make their own personal identical deck consisting of 7 copper coin cards and 3 estate cards. Then they set up the marketplace, first setting out all of the treasure and estate cards, then choosing 10 of the cards from the rest of the box to form the marketplace. This can be done via some sort of recommended spread, like in the rulebook, via player choice, or you can do it with this deck of blue bordered randomizer cards. These stacks of 10 cards each are then set out to form the marketplace. And marketplace is right, I'm getting some real, convention vibes out of this one. Then, each player shuffles their deck of 10 cards and draws a hand of 5. On your turn, you must play through your entire hand and use it to purchase 1 card from the marketplace, which is then placed into your discard pile. And once your deck is empty, you shuffle this discard pile with the new cards inside of it and draw from it as your new deck, meaning that the cards that you bought on previous turns will show up in new ones. The goal of the game is to have the most cards worth victory points in your deck, which, in this version of the game, is limited to the property cards. Your deck does start with 3 of these in the form of 3 estate cards, but at this point in the game, they are dead weight that cannot be spent or exchanged for anything. This is where the marketplace comes into play. This marketplace lets you purchase action cards which let you do more on your turn, purchase additional cards, and importantly, expel the low value cards from your deck. These cheap victory points are kinda worthless in the long run, so ditching them from your deck with one of the action cards early on is a common strategy. The game ends once all of the highest value province cards are gone, or 3 of the stacks in the marketplace are depleted, at which point everybody stops, they check their decks, and they tally the victory points. It's a game that can be as simple or complex as the card spread you go for it, and Dominion has actually gotten quite the number of expansions. And all of these expansions tend to be pretty extreme, not just introducing new cards that could be put into the marketplace, but full-on mechanics, additional resource cards, alchemy points, tournament prizes, even victory tokens, to completely change up the game in every entry. There's no denying it though, it is a time-consuming game, one that requires a lot of setup and a lot of real estate. But it's a classic for a reason, and it's not a bad thing to pick up at board game night. If you do buy a copy of Dominion for yourself, be sure to double check the box to make sure you haven't accidentally picked up an expansion, though it's my understanding that these days they sell a package of just the 6 basic cards to make any expansion a playable base game. It's not that hard to get your hands on a copy, as it is one of the most popular card games made. So, that's Dominion by Rio Grande Games. See you next time for day number 10. A big thanks to our patrons for making this all possible.